Imagine this. A man pulls into a parking lot in a brand new luxury car, sleek, loud, and unmistakably expensive. He steps out in designer clothes, a gold watch flashing on his wrist, and heads into a high-end restaurant. Everyone watches, maybe even admires. Now picture another man parking a 10-year-old sedan in the same lot. He's wearing plain jeans, an old hoodie, and walks in quietly without turning heads. Most people would assume the first man is rich. But what if I told you he's drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck just to maintain the illusion? And the second man, he's a multimillionaire with no debt, multiple income streams, and total financial freedom. This isn't just a story, it's the truth behind how wealth really works. As Morgan Housel, author of The Psychology of Money, says, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. What if everything you've been taught about wealth, how it looks, how it works, and how to get it, is dead wrong? In this video, we're going to uncover the 3 money secrets the rich won't tell you. These aren't tricks or hacks, they're mindset shifts. Psychological truths that quietly build wealth while everyone else is chasing status. Ready to unlearn what you think you know about money? Let's begin. Number 1. Money is emotional, not logical. Money is supposed to be math. Add, subtract, save, invest. It's numbers on a spreadsheet, right? But in reality, money is rarely about math. It's about emotion. It's about identity. It's about the stories we've told ourselves since childhood, the insecurities we try to cover up, the fear we carry, and the image we want the world to see. Most people think they make financial decisions logically. But if that were true, we wouldn't have credit card debt at all-time highs, or people living in financial chaos while owning luxury items they can't afford. The truth is, money decisions are emotional before they're ever rational. From the moment we're old enough to understand value, we begin forming what psychologists call money scripts, unconscious beliefs shaped by our environment, upbringing, and early experiences. If you grew up watching your parents argue about bills, you might associate money with stress and anxiety. If you were rewarded with toys or treats when things went well, you may tie spending to love or success. These scripts don't vanish when we grow up. They deepen, and they show up in how we earn, spend, save, and invest. Some people hoard money out of a deep fear of lack. Others overspend trying to prove their worth to the world. And then there are those who avoid money altogether, too intimidated to even check their bank balance because they've attached it to shame or failure. These patterns don't come from logic, they come from emotion. Advertisers and marketers know this better than anyone. They don't sell you a car, they sell you status. They don't sell you clothes, they sell you identity. Every commercial, influencer post, and product placement is a psychological game designed to hit your emotional triggers. That's why someone will spend $1,000 on a handbag while barely making rent. It's not about utility. It's about feeling powerful, accepted, admired, even if just for a fleeting moment. The financial industry, ironically, tends to talk down to people by giving them advice based on pure numbers. But numbers don't drive behavior, feelings do. And until you understand the emotional side of money, all the budgeting apps in the world won't fix your financial reality. The wealthy understand this in a way that most don't. They've learned to detach emotion from money. To them, money is not a source of identity or validation. It's a tool. It's not who they are. It's what they use to build freedom, opportunity, and leverage. When the average person gets a raise, they increase their lifestyle. When the rich get a raise, they often increase their investments. Why? Because they've trained themselves to value long-term utility over short-term emotion. They've shifted from asking, what can I buy with this, to what can this create for me? That emotional detachment is key. It allows them to stay calm when markets crash, patient when returns take time, and strategic when others are impulsive. This emotional mastery over money is also what allows the rich to avoid lifestyle creep, the phenomenon where your expenses rise in proportion to your income. Most people don't notice it happening. They tell themselves, I deserve this, or I've worked hard, and slowly what once felt luxurious becomes their new baseline. But the wealthy often resist this temptation, not because they're cheap, but because they know that every dollar spent emotionally today is a dollar that could have worked for them tomorrow. They flip the script. Instead of using money to soothe emotions, They've used discipline to protect their financial emotions in the first place. None of this is to say that emotions are bad. In fact, understanding your emotional relationship with money is the first step to financial power. Once you recognize the feelings behind your decisions, you can begin to change them. You can pause before a purchase and ask, what am I really buying here? Validation, escape, approval? You can look at your bank account without judgment and start from where you are, not where you think you should be. You can redefine wealth, not as what you show, but as the peace and power you build behind the scenes. In the end, money isn't just about how much you have, it's about how well you understand your own psychology. That's what separates those who stay stuck in cycles of spending from those who quietly grow wealth over time. The wealthy don't just know more about money, they know more about themselves. They've mastered their emotional triggers, tamed their financial fears, and built a relationship with money that's rooted in strategy, not scarcity. If you want to transform your financial life, don't just change your budget, change your beliefs. Because until you understand that money is emotional, not logical, you'll always be fighting yourself, no matter how much you earn. Number 2, wealth is invisible. The rich think long term. If you walk past a millionaire on the street, chances are you wouldn't even notice. They're not the ones flaunting designer shoes, luxury watches, or posting filtered photos of yachts on social media. Real wealth is quiet, almost invisible. That's because the people who build lasting financial success aren't concerned with showing it. They're focused on growing it. There's a stark difference between those who chase the appearance of wealth and those who pursue actual financial independence. One group lives for the now, spending money to feel rich. The other delays gratification to become rich. It's not a matter of income, it's a matter of mindset. The media sells us a flashy version of wealth, mansions, private jets, endless luxury. But that's often just a highlight reel funded by debt or short-term success. True wealth, on the other hand, is what you don't see. It's hidden in brokerage accounts, diversified investments, business equity, and time freedom. It's in the ability to walk away from a toxic job, to travel without checking your bank balance, to retire decades early. Not because of luck, but because of long-term planning. The rich understand this intuitively. They know that looking rich is easy. Being rich takes discipline. Take the story of Ronald Read, a janitor and gas station attendant from Vermont. He lived frugally, never flaunted wealth, and drove an old car until the day he died. When he passed away at age 92, he shocked everyone by leaving behind an $8 million fortune. How? Through simple, consistent investing, patience, and an unshakable commitment to the long term. No one suspected he was wealthy because he never tried to look wealthy. And yet, his quiet discipline built a legacy that outlived him. Contrast that with celebrities and influencers who make millions, only to file for bankruptcy within a few years. The difference isn't income, it's perspective. The rich think in decades, not days. While the average person wonders how to afford something today, the wealthy are asking how their decisions will compound over the next 10 years. They've embraced delayed gratification not as a punishment, but as a strategy. Every dollar they don't spend on fleeting desires becomes a seed for future freedom. And they're not just investing in stocks or real estate. They're investing in their skills, relationships, and systems that continue to generate value long after the work is done. This mindset requires patience, resilience, and trust in the process. But it's this very patience that builds empires while others chase trends. There's also a psychological element to this long-term thinking. It means resisting the urge to compare, to impress, or to validate your success externally. That's harder than it sounds. In a world where social media rewards showmanship and where success is often measured by what you own, staying grounded requires internal confidence. The rich don't need to prove anything. They know that peace of mind, time flexibility, and financial options matter more than image. And so while others are busy upgrading their lifestyle, the rich are upgrading their assets. This isn't just about frugality or saving money. It's about vision. The wealthy aren't denying themselves joy. They're choosing a different kind of joy, one that lasts, one that compounds, one that gives them the space to live on their own terms. And they're doing it quietly. The truth is, the more you need to show others you're successful, the less you probably are. Because real wealth, true, life-changing, generational wealth, isn't loud. It's patient, it's persistent, and it's invisible, to the untrained eye. The challenge for most people is that long-term thinking doesn't give immediate rewards. It requires faith in outcomes you can't yet see. But that's exactly why it works. While others burn out chasing the next big thing, the long-term thinkers build something enduring. They accept boredom over excitement, strategy over emotion, and consistency over chaos. That's the price of real wealth, and the reason so few ever achieve it. If you want to start thinking like the rich, stop asking what you can buy today, and start asking what you can build over the next decade. Stop chasing wealth you can post, and start building wealth that lasts. Because at the end of the day, the biggest flex isn't the watch on your wrist. It's the time you control. The richest people in the world don't brag about what they have. They don't need to. Their wealth speaks for itself, silently compounding in the background, while they go about their lives with freedom and purpose. That's the real game. And the moment you shift your focus from what looks impressive to what's truly impactful, you've already started to win. Number 3. Control over money is control over life. At first glance, wealth might seem like it's all about numbers. How many digits in a bank account? How much income per year? How expensive your lifestyle can be. But true wealth, the kind the rich quietly pursue, is really about one thing. Control. It's about freedom. It's about designing a life where you decide how your time is spent, who you answer to, what risks you can take, and how you move through the world. Money is simply the tool. Control is the goal. The rich understand this distinction deeply. They don't just want to earn more. They want to own more. More time, more options, more autonomy. They don't just seek income. They seek leverage. Most people spend their lives working for money. They trade hours for dollars in a cycle that rarely ends, no matter how high their salary climbs. And while there's nothing wrong with hard work, there's a dangerous illusion in believing that high income equals wealth. It doesn't. You can earn $500,000 a year and still be broke if you're locked into a lifestyle that demands every dollar and more. Wealth, on the other hand, is not measured by what you earn. It's measured by what you own and how long you could maintain your lifestyle if you stopped working tomorrow. It's about assets that generate income without your direct labor. It's about systems that function when you're asleep or on vacation. And that's where the rich play a completely different game. They don't chase bigger paychecks. They chase ownership, equity, not effort. They build businesses, invest in companies, acquire real estate, and develop intellectual property, all assets that pay them repeatedly without requiring constant input. They understand that labor has a ceiling, but ownership has infinite upside. A salaried job might offer security, but equity offers freedom. And that's why the truly wealthy are often business owners, investors, or creators. They've learned how to shift from being the engine of their income to being the architect of a machine that runs with or without them. This pursuit of leverage is what separates the financially free from the perpetually busy. The wealthy don't just earn money, they set up systems that multiply it. They hire teams, delegate tasks, automate workflows, and invest in tools that free up their time. Why? Because they understand that time, not money, is the ultimate currency. When you control your time, you control your life. You can think clearly, make better decisions, and focus on high-value activities instead of putting out fires all day. And in this clarity, they find psychological freedom. They're not panicking over bills or stuck in toxic work environments. They're choosing their path, not reacting to circumstances. This control also allows the rich to be more patient and more aggressive when it matters. They can take calculated risks, start passion projects, or weather economic downturns without fear. Why? Because they're not living on the edge. They've created buffers, financial, emotional, and strategic, that give them stability in chaos. They don't need to say yes to every opportunity, client, or job. They can say no with confidence. And in a world where most people are constantly compromising to survive, that kind of control is rare and powerful. But here's the critical insight. This level of control isn't reserved for billionaires. It starts with a shift in mindset. You don't have to be rich to start thinking like the rich. You can begin building leverage at any level. That might mean starting a side hustle that grows into a business. It could mean investing a small percentage of your income into index funds or real estate. It might be as simple as learning a skill that increases your earning potential or builds long-term equity. What matters is the direction, moving from dependence to independence, from effort to ownership. Control over your finances begins with awareness, knowing where your money goes, what it's doing for you, and whether it's building your future or just fueling your present. It grows through intentional design, building systems that prioritize your time, energy, and long-term freedom. And ultimately, it's cemented through choices. The small daily decisions to invest, to say no to lifestyle creep, to think years ahead instead of days. The rich are not just lucky or smarter, they're strategic. They build lives where money serves them, not the other way around. In the end, money without control is stress. It's golden handcuffs. But control over your time, your work, your choices is the essence of wealth. That's the secret the rich know and rarely say out loud. They don't just want more money, they want fewer constraints. They want the freedom to live intentionally, not reactively. And they've structured their lives around that truth. If you want to build lasting wealth, stop asking how to earn more and start asking how to own more. Because the moment you gain control over your money is the moment you start gaining control over your life. Number 4, how to adopt the rich mindset. Adopting the mindset of the wealthy isn't about copying their lifestyle. It's about understanding how they think about money. While most people are looking for the next financial hack or hot stock tip, the rich are focused on habits, systems, and psychology. They don't chase wealth, they engineer it. And it starts from the inside to think like the wealthy. You need to master your emotions around money, build automatic systems that work without constant willpower, and reframe your relationship with spending, saving, and investing. This isn't about being frugal for the sake of frugality. It's about being intentional, directing your money with purpose, not emotion. One of the first steps is to track your emotional spending. Most financial mistakes don't happen in spreadsheets. They happen in moments of stress, boredom, insecurity, or ego. You feel overwhelmed, so you buy something to feel better. You feel inadequate, so you spend to impress. These impulses feel small in the moment, but over time they erode your ability to build real wealth. The rich understand this. They create distance between emotion and financial decision-making. They pause. They reflect. They don't buy because something is on sale. They buy because it aligns with a long-term strategy. Start identifying your own emotional triggers. Is it the end of a long workday, a social media comparison spiral? Once you recognize the pattern, you can interrupt it. Use journaling, budgeting apps, or even a simple 24-hour rule before any non-essential purchase. The goal is to build awareness, not just restrict spending. Next, focus on building systems for saving and investing. The wealthy don't rely on discipline. They rely on automation. They pay themselves first, not last. Before the rent is paid or the credit card bill is due, a portion of their income is already funneled into investments, savings, or retirement accounts. This is one of the most powerful mindset shifts you can make, treating wealth building as a non-negotiable expense, not an afterthought. Automate contributions to your investment accounts, set up recurring transfers to high-yield savings, and review your system quarterly to optimize and adjust. When your money is moving toward your goals by default, you remove the need to make the right choice every month. You've already made it. Another pillar of the rich mindset is developing patience and emotional detachment from money decisions. The market goes up, it goes down. Businesses thrive, then they dip. The average person panics at every downturn. The wealthy stay calm because they're playing the long game. They're not trying to win in a week. They're building something that compounds for decades. This emotional resilience is what separates successful investors and entrepreneurs from impulsive speculators. To cultivate it, zoom out. Stop watching the day-to-day fluctuations of your investments. Instead, track trends over months and years. Remind yourself that volatility is not a signal to react. It's a sign you're in the game. Practice viewing your net worth like a business owner views inventory, strategically, not sentimentally. Beyond mindset, start actively building assets and reducing liabilities. The rich don't just accumulate things, they accumulate value. They invest in things that generate income, appreciate over time, or reduce their dependency on labor. That might mean real estate, stocks, intellectual property, or a business. At the same time, they're careful about what they own that drains money. Liabilities aren't just debts, they're distractions. A new car that depreciates the moment you drive it, a bigger home with higher costs, but no added freedom. Evaluate every major purchase through the lens of return on investment, not just financially, but in freedom and peace of mind. Ask, does this move me closer to autonomy or tie me down? To fully adopt the rich mindset, you must also redefine what success looks like. It's not about consumer status or recognition. It's about flexibility, time, and peace. The truly wealthy don't need to prove themselves. They let their results speak. This quiet confidence stems from knowing they've built a foundation that can weather storms. Start internalizing that your worth isn't tied to what you wear, drive, or display. It's tied to what you own, what you create, and how much control you have over your time. Measure your success not by what you can buy, but by what you can walk away from. Can you leave a toxic job? Take a risk. Spend time with loved ones on your own schedule. That's real wealth. Finally, remember that mindset is built through repetition. Read books that reinforce long-term thinking. Surround yourself with people who talk about building, not just spending. Reflect often on your progress, your vision, and your values. The shift from consumer to owner, from earner to investor, from spender to builder, it doesn't happen overnight. But every day you practice it, you get closer. The rich didn't get lucky. They got focused. They made deliberate, often boring choices that added up. And you can too. Start with the next decision, the next dollar, the next opportunity to build instead of burn. That's how the rich mindset takes root. Not in big breakthroughs, but in small, consistent steps toward a freer future. At the end of the day, money isn't just numbers on a screen. It's a mirror reflecting our beliefs, fears, and values. The biggest difference between those who struggle and those who thrive financially isn't intelligence or opportunity. It's psychology. The rich don't think differently because they're rich. They're rich because they think differently. They've mastered the inner game. They understand that emotions drive decisions, that wealth is invisible, and that control, not consumption, is the goal. These are the three secrets the rich won't tell you directly, but they live them every day. Money is emotional. Wealth is what you don't see. And control over money is control over life. Consider the story of Ronald Read, a janitor and gas station attendant who died with over $8 million in investments. He didn't win the lottery, inherit a fortune, or build a tech startup. He simply lived below his means, invested consistently, and let time do the rest. No flashy cars, no luxury lifestyle, just discipline and patience. Meanwhile, countless celebrities and high earners go broke, trying to keep up an image. Why? Because one played the long game and the other played to impress. That's the power of the psychology of money. It's not about what you earn. It's about what you believe, how you behave, and what you build. So here's the challenge. Change one financial behavior this week. Track your emotional spending for 48 hours. Set up an automated transfer into a long-term investment account. Say no to something that gives you short-term validation, but adds nothing to your future. Choose one action that aligns with who you want to become, not how you want to appear. The road to wealth isn't paved with hacks. It's paved with intentional, repeated choices that compound over time. Remember, the secrets of the rich aren't locked away in gated communities or private banks. They're in the mindset, the quiet, steady, often unglamorous way the wealthy think, act, and live. And once you understand that, you'll realize you don't have to be rich to start thinking like the rich. But if you do start thinking like them, eventually, wealth becomes inevitable.